Welcome to Outside the Ring. I am here with my guest, EC3. How are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm great. I'm in the Cleveland International Airport, about to head to Fort Lee, Texas for NWA Shockwave. Just ecstatic, just thrilled, happy to be here with you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I can't complain.
Well, you could, but would anyone really care?
Hmm, maybe I don't want to.
I wouldn't even. Complaining is just negative energy. You don't need to complain. If you have issues, you just need to find ways to solve it. Use creative means, work towards it. Complaining, it really does nothing. So I'm glad you can't complain, but I'm glad you should.
What got you into this world of professional wrestling?
Misguided childhood ambition, probably more often than not. I mean, everybody has a hope and a dream as a young kid. Mine persisted and stayed with me through high school and in college. And I couldn't think of anything else I wanted to try when I was young. So I tried this. Had some successes, had some failures, but done pretty well for myself. So mostly it's the aspect of following your dream as a kid. But later, when you grow up, you'll notice when you become an adult and a man, you got to find like a purpose to drive you, a purpose to make you do the things to go beyond yourself for both yourself and for others. And then I think purpose is the real reason why we do anything we want to do. So a dream and a purpose.
That's fair.
What's your dream? What do you want to do? You're a young man.
You
What do you
onion?
tackle the world? Sports commentary, stuff like that.
Yep. This podcasting was my way to get into the wrestling business at first
Yes,
because
definitely a good start. It's a clouded field too, so it's about finding your own kind of niche and your own way in it because everybody can have a podcast, but not everybody can have a podcast. So I think this is a good one.
how would you come to like starting, or how'd you come up with control your narrative?
Well, what was it, 2020? So if I recall, the world was on fire, everything was falling apart, people were eating each other alive, socially, culturally. Uh, at the time, I was with the WWE, but I was one of many people that were released in the COVID haze of the pandemic and shutting down all live events and entertainment. So it was just kind of a different way to approach creativity in wrestling. You can't have shows in front of people that could do. It still keeps the art of it alive way. Basically, trying to be unique and trying to be different, trying to stand out, and trying to just create something. If everyone's going to sit at home and complain, locked in unjustly, by the way, locked in their homes, unable to do anything they want to do, you have to find ways to kind of express your creative needs. So that's kind of the inception.
How would you come up with the name or rename EC3?
Well, I shortened my name Ethan Carter III to EC3. It's a good brand. It's easy to say.
How'd
There
you
was
come
an
up with
RG, yeah, there was an RG3 who was great for us first year, but then he suffered horrible years and never recovered. Which he did. He was a good guy.
how'd you come up with the Ethan Carter part?
I was bored. Father Ethan Carter II impregnated my mother, a glowing young boy, was born and raised. Really simple. I know one thing about the name Ethan, which is inspiring for it, is that short of myself, I've never met an Ethan I liked. So I always thought it was a good name for perhaps a bad guy.
Do you have any favorite matches or moments from your career? I know you've
But
been probably doing it for quite a bit.
I have dozens, dozens. Why don't you name one and I'll tell you if it's one of my favorites.
Oh, winning the 24/7 title in WWE.
Absolutely not. I did not give one crap
I
about
don't.
zero, zero. I'd probably have to be at the bottom of my list.
Win the TNA World Heavyweight.
That is one of my, yeah, I mean,
Oh,
wrestling Kurt Angle, defeating Kurt Angle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship is definitely one of, if not my favorite matches I've done. And, when I was your age, how old are you now?
18.
You're 18. Maybe I was a little bit young, maybe 16 or something. But when I decided I wanted to be a wrestler, I told people, well, what's your dream match? And I said, I want to wrestle Kurt Angle for the world championship. And guess what? They laughed at me. That'll never happen. Guess what? It did. So don't let anyone tell you you can't do what you want to do.
Hope you showed them that you could do it and that you did it.
Damn right. And anybody listening, anybody watching, if you have that manifestation and that belief in yourself, if you go for it, you just have to go for it too. So you can't complain about not doing it. You can't complain about it not happening for you. You have to put yourself out there and do it. You may do it, you may not, but even if you don't do it, don't consider it a failure because only through the things you don't accomplish is how you learn to accomplish what you want. Wise advice.
Do you have any dream opponents that you would want to face?
Yeah, I want to kick John Cena's ass. I don't know if it ever, if I manifested. Short of that, like I've wrestled everybody I've won. So Cena and Orton would be probably the two because still the past generation, but they're still at the top of their game. And they're a reason why I am who I am, professionally and personally in ways. So, yeah, Cena for sure. I think Orton's the best of all time. So those would be two guys I'd put on that list.
How'd you come up with the, I don't know if it's a nickname, but how'd you come up with Overman?
Are you familiar with Friedrich Nietzsche psychology?
No.
You should look into it. It's very interesting. But one of the aspects of his crazy brain was he wrote about man who hailed from the mountains, who was it's actually the inception of Superman in a way. This is about 18 I think, when he wrote Spoke Zarathustra. But a man that is he's not a superhero per se, but he's a man so ingrained in his own beliefs in self that he believes himself to be a Superman, an overman.
There's some people watching. Someone said they would like to see you versus Logan Paul or you versus LA Knight.
Oh, well, if you want to go into the archives, I do suggest checking out some of these impacts. LA Knight was Eli Drake. We had a couple of encounters. In fact, we actually did this one premise segment where I was on his like stupid talk show with the button. Like he's a great, great promo guy. And we just kind of went at each other. I watched it back the other day. I'm like, damn, we're pretty good. So wouldn't mind doing that again. Logan Paul, I mean, I'm in Cleveland. I guess he's from Cleveland. He's found his fame. I guess he's committing to wrestling full time, so that's cool. I think one guy that came from the outside world of wrestling that is really locked in and got it is Logan Paul. Well, I'm into that.
Where did you start wrestling at first?
Where do you live? Are we by each other?
Cleveland is about
You're in
like
Cleveland.
what?
You're in Cleveland?
No, I'm not. Cleveland is about like an hour and a half, 2 hours from me.
Well, first, I'm going to bring you next Saturday. We'll run the NWA Exodus. This is my promotion. I'm in the territory part of the NWA. Big show, 118. You want me to come by? It's only an hour and a half away. But where I started was Cleveland. It's kind of in a suburb called Eastland. I don't know if you know where the Lake County Captain Stadium is, but right across the street from that was an old shitty garage where we put a ring in, and some guy trained me. So that's where I started. Humble beginnings.
So when you started out in WWE, you started under the ring name Derrick Bateman. Did you come up with that ring name, or did someone at WWE
Derrick Bateman. So we were
bring
going,
back?
yeah, see that when we were new signees, we had a show. We showed up one day and they told us to write some names down on the list, some first names and some last names. And one of the many first names I wrote was Derek, and one of the many last names I wrote was Bateman. And then one day I showed up and I was Derek Bateman. So it's kind of like really half-assed. I had a huge creative process at the time.
How'd you, or I believe Daniel Bryan was your pro for,
Oh, he certainly was.
oh, what was
There's
it
some
like
wild
working
times.
with,
Oh, it was a blast because he's a goofy mess. So I mean, the show itself wasn't being taken seriously. So we worked hard. We didn't work serious. We had a, I can't believe this guy, right? I'm at the airport talking to you. There's so much space, so many tables that are open. And I have this little table that I'm looking. And the guy just put his shit, his luggage, right on my table. So I started going through his bags. And there's like 12 tables with nobody on it. Here I am, hovered over a cell phone, having a conversation, and he picked this. I mean, was that on purpose or was it just ignorance? I, people, people baffle me. Anyways,
how'd you end up working with NWA?
hmm, Billy Corgan called me one day because we had a lasting relationship from the TNA days. Asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. I said, it depends. Where are we going? What are we going to do? Give me a rundown. Said, I like it. It's been magic ever since. Billy Corgan's my boss. He's the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool.
Is there a specific match that you would want to compete in that you haven't competed in before?
In the NWA,
Or
but in general,
in general,
are you talking like match stipulations?
match stipulations?
I mean, I've been in standings are cool. I've been in street fights. I've been in no DQ. I created the ultimate match of death. I wouldn't mind bringing a second one of those. The ultimate match of death. I think short of maybe a major title or a main opponent, I've pretty much been in every possible kind of scenario. So nothing rings out. I mean, maybe an Iron Man. Why not? I have great cardio. I can do it.
What was it working with Tyrus in like his final match?
Oh, well, I had to beat the hell out of him to defeat him. That was for sure. Definitely wasn't a wrestling match. It's kind of a Greek tragedy. Uh, but he's a guy I've known since the days of FCW, NXT. He was my bodyguard in TNA. We have a long storied history. If somebody had to take him out, it should have been me, not was. So the internet can thank me for that.
Would you ever go back to work for like a WWE TNA or a different promotion?
I love what I'm doing with the NWA, contracted there.
Hmm.
I would not discredit anything to say I would never go anywhere because I don't know what business you guys had or what could be done. I think TNA, I've done it. I like to do things I haven't done. So having done some of those things, I'm not in a rush to do them again and repeat, but I would do things as WWE, definitely differently, or I would do something I haven't done. As far as what I'm doing, the WWE, we'll pick it up. Looking at big options, I have a territory system. We're producing the next generation of asset, which you're going to see January 18th. Like I'm at the top of my game, but also I bring people up. And I'm a real good believer. And this guy's another road. I can't believe that guy put his back. I'm still shocked. Like all this space. Real. I like to harp on things that aren't really necessary.
Yeah.
It's going to bother me for 2 days because I don't know why. What was the reason? Because it's probably he just wasn't paying attention. But like, be aware of your surroundings, right?
Hmm.
Literally on a phone call, interview, 2 feet away from. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you're good. What was it like working with? I feel like I've seen that you've worked with Braun Strowman with Control Your Narrative and stuff.
Yeah, he's a big scary man. He did some stuff. Threw me around a little bit. Well, he went back to WWE and hopefully he's doing it. Oh, sure. I know that guy.
Would you want to? I don't know if you have, but would you want to work in a match with like Braun Strowman? Or
Depending on the circumstances in the business, I wouldn't turn down anything. Hell, I'd wrestle you, man. If the business is.
do you feel like you're doing the best work of your career right now that you could be doing?
It's a good question. Probably. In some ways,
Mhm.
definitely. In other ways, it depends how you want to judge. And when I judge things, I would say yes. I mean, people are paying attention and notice the intricacies and the depths of it, or what I'm doing for other talents, how much I'm putting on the line for them to pursue their dreams. Say yes. It doesn't get the headlines, nor should it. Great work doesn't need it. It's,
If someone would want to watch what you would call prime EC3, what would you refer them to? Your current work, some TNA?
I was watching some on TNA. There's things I know now that I see I didn't do when I do now. But then there's things from then I see. So prime. Well, that that was a good question. I would say I would just make a freaking rad ass mixtape from the early days to the discovery phase, to the beginnings, to the middles, to this. I mean, dude, I am the world title world tour, dude, is the end of the world champion. A lot of very prime that took place. I could say yes. Then people love to look at the past and harken about the novelty and the nostalgia that we've done. And so only remember the impact is. And there's damn good shit in there too. So tough question to answer. I hope I yes and no.
If you could set up a dream match with a dream opponent, could be retired, still working, alive, dead,
Mm.
who would it be? Or who would they be?
I mean, we kind of talked about Orton and Cena, so I won't use them in this example. Man, I would be TNA EC3, managed by Rockstar Spud, and I'd work Stone Cold there in the late '90s. That would be my dream. Because that would be insane.
Hmm, that would have been a good match.
That'd be nuts.
Hmm.
It's a go crazy. Spud getting stunned. Oh yeah, let's go list. Feds presses all around.
What was it like working with Rockstar Spud?
Oh, he's my best friend, my best mate. Some of the best times we've had, definitely. Finding ways to bring the best out of each other, finding ways to entertain each other, doing conducive and really good business, and building our personas and our confidence in our characters. The best of times, certainly.
I'm gonna ask you, what was it like working with the Hardys? Because Hardys are one of my favorite tag teams, and I know
You
you
remember when I
had your
had
fair battles with them.
Jeff Hardy as my servant? But I mean, yeah, like, dude, I grew up watching it. So being in the ring with it's pretty surreal. So I thoroughly enjoyed working with Jeff, his chaos and insanity. But Matt Hardy is a guy that really took to me, and we built each other up, and he really made me who I am today. So working with Matt was really a great learning experience and a great emotional experience, I guess. Broken Matt, I created him.
Hmm. Is there anyone that you watched growing up that you were able to work with?
Sort of Kurt and Matt. Yeah, I think a few, right?
Hmm.
Roach, Aaron, Ricky Morton. I mean, yeah, quite a few. Al Snow.
Oh wow.
There's got to be more.
Yeah,
Ken Anderson. We named a few.
yeah. Do you think working with vets in the business, such as Kurt Angle, helped elevate your career?
Oh, absolutely. Huge. Huge boost. I don't want to share anything. A lot of people mention wrestling, but I had to wrestle. I was fortunate to wrestle high stakes circumstance on the line and prove myself worthy of being somebody that could hang with him. So definitely, maybe you'll experience this as you're growing up, but like you have these plateaus in life, right? You're like here, and it feels like you're there forever. Then something takes place, you like transcend to a new man. So you have an accumulation of these moments into who you become. That was definitely.
I saw that you in a previous interview you said that you were called up to main roster in WWE was somewhat unexpected,
I guess you could say that.
or
It's kind of without forethought in a way. It's just kind of haphazardly put together.
do you
But
think?
you gotta be ready for the call no matter when it comes. So it's like
Mhm.
the thing about not being ready, it just kind of happened without any. That's not for us to find out. That's why we trust the great creative ways in the office.
Do you think that if it was thought out, you it could have turned into something?
I think anything with some forethought usually provides a roadmap to get to destinations. So it's more likely to be successful. But that's anything can happen. Is that everything changes. Fans of wrestling don't understand this. I tell them that no matter what is planned, nothing ever goes according to plan. Things consistently, constantly, almost guarantee change with a drop of hats. So in theory, yes. In practice, good time.
As a, I know you've won championships in a bunch of promotions, but is there one championship match where, or a match where you won it that is your favorite? I,
Yeah, definitely the Kurt Angle. Is that title championships, like you asked earlier about the 24/7 championship, that's a prop. I didn't give it. Nobody cares. But some championships have like world championships, TNA, NWA, WWE, an IC title, US title. Those have meaning. But like, there's also, in my opinion, way too many championships in wrestling where it seems to dilute the value of what being a champion is. So some have great meaning and some mean absolutely. Just depends when, where, what's the difference.
have to ask, how long have you been wrestling for?
I mean, I've stepped in at least 20. Then it's about, are you consistently doing it and consistently working? When you start, you're not. So I would say it's been my job since 2000. That's my pressure.
Do you have any besides like NWA, which you said you really like working for? I'm sure you're gonna say TNA too, but any other promotions that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate enough with the NWA, maybe to dabble in other things. So there's a lot of high end indies, a lot of European companies trying to school, working for other Japan's, but sort of major companies. A lot of upstarts, what I'm building in NWA. So this is best. Yeah, there's a vast variety. And then there's some really shitty ones too. So if they pay
Oh,
me money, I'll share it.
is there any promotion that you haven't had the chance or haven't worked for that you would want to work for?
But I want to. I don't believe in wants. Major promotions I haven't enforced probably. I want to eat. I want to work. But maybe I don't know what's popping on the indies. Maybe something high end with some niche audience that's really into it. Would be cool. I can't think of. Turmeric, just some enzymes, apple cider vinegar, vitamin D, absolute seal. Who else have you had on this show?
I've had Rhino,
Nice. Good
Donovan
job.
Dijak,
That's a good guy.
and you know, I've mainly had a bunch of like independent talent.
Well, it's just great. You guys are working together. You got the name out, you got a bunch of land. Good deal.
Because I didn't start out watching professionally, I started independently.
Do you remember your first wrestling show?
First session show was here in Ohio, down. I know you're from Ohio, but in a city called Fremont for a promotion called Live Pro Wrestling.
It's Fremont by the lake. It was Fremont.
Fremont, I
No, I've heard of it.
really don't know how to describe like where
I'll find it on the map.
it is.
What do you remember about your first show?
I remember one of my dad's good friends told us about it and ended up bringing us to it, and I just remember enjoying it, and he just ended up taking us because it was like a monthly show. I remember just seeing
No.
everyone different, all the different wrestlers and stuff.
Oh, shit. That's cool. It's a good place to start. I'll tell you what, if you come to Exodus on January 18th, hit me up. I'm in there. No bad idea. It'll be the best independent show I've ever seen. I'll hook you up with some of the guys and throw some interviews down with them, get their brand out a little bit, and then we come.
I'm hoping if nothing comes up, I'm hoping to make it out.
What else is coming up there? You're gonna be, you'll be great. I booked you. I'll be there.
Sure, you heard. I see you stay up to date with Sam Beal stuff. I had him on the show too.
Oh, dude, Sam Deal is one of our guys. Loves it. Huge fan.
Uh,
Helped him out with a little dynamo the other day. He's kicking butt with us in Exodus. And he deserves opportunity. He's a real wild man, too.
mhm. I Sam's actually one of the first wrestlers I seen down here at my first wrestling show.
You got any more questions? You got a bullet display pretty soon.
Nope, that's all I had.
That's it.
Anything you want to say before we get off?
Yeah, follow me on the brands, after release EC3 and other things. Follow Exodus Pro and Instagram. Come if you're in the Ohio area, your boys at Maverick. Drive by his house, pick him up. Show starts at 6:05. Cleveland, Ohio. It's actually going to be one. You'll find the directions. Exodus Pro, text me if you need him. Short of that, no, it's a good chat. Good to see a young man pursuing a passion. So anytime you need some help, let me know.
Thank you for letting me interview you.
I'd rather. You know,
You have a good one. Have a safe flight.
talk to you next year. Oh, yeah.